Earlier on today, we did have another stream. We did have a time, and I was mentioning that I wasn't feeling super great, that it was feeling moderate or modestly, but not the best, and that has gone downhill. I should be in bed, but I thought, I know a lot of people get migraines, and I wanted to go ahead and do this. I've done this for my Patreon people. We've talked about migraines before, but I wanted to go ahead and just kind of show you guys what I do for migraines. The first thing you'll notice is I've got these tinted glasses on. I have another pair, which are yellow. I also have one that's a blue pair, a green pair. I'll be getting a brown pair and a purple pair, I guess just for some situations. Sometimes they are better. And then, of course, our number one help is just to kill all the lights. But I'm not sure that you guys are even able to see me other than like a weird reflection. I wonder if we can have sort of a soft light going on. Does that... Ooh, that's very spooky. And my cat just hissed, so I don't know if that's necessarily the style we want to go for. This is LED, so that's why we're able to turn it on. Can we just open a window? That's doable, right? I think we can do that. So we'll have this light. Okay. So for those of you that don't know what migraines are, so migraines are the most common neurological disorder that affects the general public. And they are not any ghost stories. I would like to do some ghost stories at a later date, because I have some stories of things that I can't say that it is ghosts, but they are odd. So I still don't know what they could be. I do like to overanalyze everything, and I still can't figure out what it could have been. And same with these, just other stuff. So I would like to talk about those sometime. Yeah, so migraines, as a neurological problem, they affect so many parts of your body. I did not always have migraines. My migraines started in the Marines, and the first time I got a migraine, I honestly thought I was dying. I thought I was having an aneurysm, or, I didn't know if an aneurysm was supposed to hurt. I just knew that that's a brain thing, and am I dying? This is kind of what I had expected. So Matthew has a question here. Are migraines something anyone can get, or does it only affect certain people, or is it affected by age or stress? Yes, to all of the above. Anyone can get migraines. Some people get migraines genetically. Some people get migraines. I get them as a secondary issue to a primary neurological issue from the military. For age or stress, the only way that I know that age affects it is that for some young people that get migraines, once they go through puberty, their migraines stop. But that's only for some of them. But otherwise, yeah, you can get them as a child. The only reason that age, as far as I know, can make you more susceptible to migraines is because as you live longer, you put your body through more issues that could trigger chronic pain, like long-term chronic pain. So it's not necessarily that the older you are, just by virtue of aging, would necessarily cause you to get migraines. If you live a very, I guess, non-active life, but you're not unhealthy. But if you're a type of person that maybe was in the military like me and you ended up getting injured, or if you have some chronic pain issues that can affect your back or something, stress can add to it. Stress can trigger it. For some people, they call them tension headaches, because for some people, when they get stressed out, it causes a tightening of their muscles in the back of their neck, and then that can trigger the migraine as well. To what degree is it psychosomatic, as in to what degree thinking about them can bring them on? I would say that I don't think thinking about a migraine necessarily would bring it on. I think it's the same as any pain condition, where once the pain starts, if you focus on the pain, it can almost amplify the pain because you're focusing on it. Whereas doing something to try to distract yourself can reduce the pain, but I mean that with such an asterisk. Reducing the pain, it's like the difference between cutting off 4 toes and cutting off 5 toes. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're still in extreme pain. I suppose cutting off 5 toes is slightly worse than cutting off 4 toes, but it's in so much pain that it doesn't really matter to an extent. I don't know if that makes sense. It's hard sometimes to answer questions regarding migraines because people that have migraines just know what it's like, and we have maybe ways that we think about it, and then we have to try to put it into words for people that might not have migraines, and so it can be a little bit different. Let's see. I've had migraines as long as I can remember. Distraction doesn't help a lot of the time. Right. It can... I mean, there's nothing to distract you from being in pain, if that makes any sense. There's stuff maybe you care about more, but migraines have levels. So the fact that I can even talk right now, that is a moderate migraine. I'm not talking as fast as I normally do. You guys may have noticed that if you're used to the speed in which I talk. That's because if I am doing that, I'm afraid I'm going to vomit. So there are migraines that let's try to think about this maybe in levels. Level 0 is you feel like you're gonna get a migraine. There's this pre-migraine stuff. It's called the prodrome. It's like before a migraine. For some people, they see auras. For some people, they get dizzy. There's some people, their muscles will get tight or start to tingle. For me, there's this knot that happens in the back of my head, on my neck, where like the base of my skull is. If you touch it on one side, it's very soft. You would know it's a muscle. If you touch it here and you didn't know it was a muscle, you would mistake it for a bone. That's how tight the muscle is. Genuinely, I thought, what is going on? Is my neck, like, is this the transverse process is like your vertebra has these 2 little hands coming off of it. That's the transverse process as far as I remember. I thought, what is going on? Is it out of place? And then I touched the other side and oh, it's just, that's how tight the muscle is. Like, I genuinely thought, what is this bone I'm feeling? That's how hard this is. And then there's level 1 where the migraine starts, and you might be able to stop it if you take your migraine stoppers. And that's different for everyone, so I wanted to share some of the stuff I do, just in case. So one of the things that I took, I take daily medication for my pain issues, my primary medical condition. And then if I have a breakthrough migraine, which I had today, I take this stuff called Naramig. It's part of the Imitrex family. It's a triptan. So this is a very just common migraine medicine. You do have to get it with a prescription as far as I can tell, or as far as I know in other countries as well. But it's not like there's nothing about the triptan family that is anything, you know. The side effects for it are so they're so minimal. They don't work for headaches as far as I know. It's specific to like this migraine type of pain. It's specific to that. So if you just have a headache, or like you're sick and you have a headache, and your friend gives you one of these, it's not going to help. They're specific to migraines. You don't have any side effects as far as like tiredness, dizziness. You don't get any of that. So they're great. They're great to take. The downside for me is they can take up to 2 hours to start working. I usually will consume them with a caffeinated drink, as caffeine can help with pain medication. That's why Excedrin, for example, has caffeine in it. Let's see what you guys are saying here. What's the difference between a migraine and a strong headache? So that's a really good question. So the migraine, first of all, the way you can probably tell your migraine is it's only on one side of your head. So that's what the word actually means. It comes from the words like hemisphere pain or half pain. So it goes on one side of your head or the other side of your head. For people that get migraines, sometimes they just alternate. Just every time you get a migraine, it's, you know, today it's this, and then the next time you get a migraine, it's on the other side. For me, about 95% of my migraines are on the left. That's where I have the most pain issues for my other medical condition, which is why it triggers the migraine so much in this side. About, you know, the other 5 or 10%, it's on the right side. Somebody had once asked me, because they're always on the left side, does that make it harder or better when it's on the right side? It just makes it different. I don't know how to describe it other than that. Very rarely during the course of the migraine, I will get it to switch sides, or I don't get it to, it will just switch sides. There's something I do for that. But it, sorry. It doesn't happen like at the same time. The other thing that's different from a strong headache is the cause. So a strong headache, a lot of times you will get it because you have the flu. You'll get it from dehydration, something like that. This is a neurological condition, so it's triggered by some issue going on in your nerves, and there's a lot of triggers for migraines. Actually, I may as well just check to see if this is what triggered it. One of the common triggers for migraines is the weather. So we can check here. The humidity is not bad. So high humidity can trigger it, and high pressure can trigger it. So where I live, there's the pressure that it usually is. When it goes 2 points above that, it may trigger a migraine, and it is 18 points above that. So that explains it. The cold can trigger migraines, or heat can trigger migraines. Too much sunshine can trigger migraines. Flashing lights will trigger migraines. Strong smells can trigger migraines. Loud noises can trigger migraines. A really good example of that was when I was watching Avengers Endgame. And I don't know, the movie's like, what, 3 hours? And about 2/3 of the way through, I had noticed that the light was hurting when these like flashes would happen on screen, and the sound hurt. You know, when this like booming stuff happened, it hurt. And it ended up a few minutes later, just this screaming migraine had happened, but I was with people and I was like, I'll just stay and watch the rest of this movie. So I put on my glasses because I happen to have them in my purse, and now, you know, if I'm going to go to the movies, I'm going to bring sound, you know what I'm talking about, the sound blockers, the squishies that you put in your ear to block sound. So I'm going to bring those just for the left ear. So those can trigger it as well. Being hungry can trigger it. So low blood sugar can trigger it. High blood sugar can trigger it. Chocolate can trigger it for some people. Strong cheese can trigger it for some people. High sodium triggers it for some people. Other medication can trigger it for some people. Running or exercise can trigger it for some people. And then for some people, caffeine will trigger it, but then not having enough caffeine. If you normally drink caffeine, that will trigger it as well. So too much caffeine and not enough caffeine, and too much sun and not enough sun, and too warm and not warm enough. The air pressure is too high and it's too low, and it's too humid or it's too dry. All of this will trigger a migraine, and it's not consistent. So there might be like 6 days a week I can have a coffee in the morning and be fine, and then the 7th day I'll have a coffee and it'll trigger a migraine. You know, it's something like that. I also tend to wake up at the same time every day, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the big reasons is that if I sleep too long, I'll get a migraine. If I don't sleep at the right time, I'll get a migraine. If I sleep in a different position, I'll get a migraine. If I sweat too much while I'm sleeping, I'll get a migraine. So, you know, if I use this pillow but not the other pillow, I'll get a migraine. If I'm sleeping on my side but I didn't use this other thing, I'll get a migraine. So there's a lot of modification to stuff. There's also types of clothing, restrictive clothing can trigger a migraine as well, and I think that was part of it. I went out today to do a little Pokemon Go playing, and also to run an errand, and I just had my winter leggings on, and you know, they were a bit snug. They're not tight. I wouldn't say that they're tight. They're not too small, nothing like that. They're just snug. That's how they're supposed to fit. They're leggings and they're thick. That's just how they're supposed to fit. And yeah, just that on my back, because it was around my lower back, just pressing. I think that had contributed to it as well. So not great. So when I came home, I just kind of changed into some different clothes. Let's see what you're saying. My sister got Botox shots in her head. Yeah, that helps for some people. Unfortunately, the Botox is not covered in Korea. So I wasn't able to get that covered. And according to my doctor, he said the amount that the medication helps you is as best as the Botox can help you. And the Botox will limit your range of motion, and the Botox is far more expensive. So if the medication is helping you to the extent that it is, you don't need to get migraines, or don't need to get Botox. So my understanding is that the Botox doesn't stop the migraines, it just limits it. That's my understanding anyway. I could be wrong. And for me, you know, I will have migraines all day, every day, unless I take my medication. So the medication helps, but other things too, like certain sitting positions and getting up, you know, at work and moving around, that helps as well. Let's see. Shugul, yeah, I was really sad that you weren't able to join us for Egypt. I'll get migraines sometimes that will basically put me out for the day. Yes. So that's my fear for today. After I make this video, I'm going to go lie down and nap. If I wake up and it's still there, I'm going to do my last ditch effort thing, and that usually ends up giving me the post-drome, which is also nicknamed the migraine hangover. I mean, it's, you guys ever fallen off of something and like you land on your back, or you land, like you smack your head really hard onto some really hard surface, like a brick wall or a concrete something, and then the next day you're just so sore, you barely can move, and anytime you move too much you want to vomit? Have you ever been in that situation? That's what the migraine hangover is like, that post-drome. Yeah, not the best stuff. So let me go ahead and make the drink that I'm gonna make. Let me move this candle thing. So we have my special cup, which is what I have, and I just put just some water halfway, so just to here. And let me see what you guys are gonna say. It's been a while. Yes, Darth, it has. I got a headache with the flu once, and it felt like a cordless drill was being put in my head. Not fun. Yes. If you ever were wondering about trepanation, which is there are these skulls that we found where they have holes drilled inside of them. People will say, oh, it's to let the evil spirits out, and you know, those silly people in the past. A lot of times it was for brain bleeding, to let out the excess blood that was building up. And then the skulls also have like some healing bone, so it shows that the person was living after it happened and whatever. Before I got migraines, when I had learned about trepanation, I was just like, what kind of idiot would do that? After I got migraines, this kind of idiot would definitely do that. If I lived, you know, in the 1500s, and this was an option to just get trepanned, I would be doing it. So, all right. So let me go ahead and get my setup here. So this first thing is, and none of this is sponsored. This is not sponsored content, so I should just say that. I wish, if Naturalcom wants to sponsor me, then please do, Naturalcom. Naturalcom is a magnesium powder. There's other types of companies that make magnesium powder. It's just literally a powdered magnesium. I don't know if you guys can see this. I have to open up the, I have a different thing here. Okay, so you can kind of see this. So you do have to be careful. The reason I only filled it up to that halfway line is because magnesium powder is effervescent, so it will fizz. So I've just got like a tablespoon. A teaspoon is the normal amount, but I found a tablespoon is quite helpful during a migraine. You don't want to take this every day if you're going to take this amount. And it is quite tart. I'm going to add something in here to make it easier to drink, but it is quite tart. So do be careful about that if you're sensitive to that. They do have they have flavors like lemonade, raspberry lemonade, orange. They have cherry. I'm usually a very big fan of cherry, including fake, like artificial cherry flavor. I just didn't like it in this. But their raspberry lemonade was really good. Lemonade's good. Orange is good. They just didn't have it when I ordered it. So that's going in there. I've got powdered creatine, which is supposed to help just with muscle stuff. Now, normally, you know, I had this as a bodybuilding supplement, but apparently it's good for this too. So that goes in here. Okay. And then I've got these tinctures that I have made. So I've, you know, kind of gotten into this as just kind of keeping an old family tradition alive. My grandmother was a traditional healer. Of course, I've spoken to my doctor and everything about this, and I've tried all these before I took the time to make these extracts. So they're not tinctures, because tinctures go into alcohol, typically vodka. I can't handle that with a migraine. So these are in vinegar. So if it's in vinegar, it's an extract. They're very, very easy to make, and I've used them in a tea very, very successfully before putting them into this extract form. So to make an extract, I'll just use this container again just as an example. You fill up the container about 75% of the way with the herb or tree bark or whatever you're using, and then you fill the rest of it up with vinegar. And then for the first week, you cover it, and then for the first week you want to shake it up just to make sure everything's coated, and then just leave it for like 6 weeks. Strain it out, and then it's there. So stuff that I have is ginger. So ginger has helped. It's also good for your stomach. So I'm just gonna put this in here. Lee, how many drops you put in? You know, I'm putting as many as I'm used to putting in here. It's up to you guys. Trial and error. That's all I gotta say. Catnip, literally catnip. The cat herb catnip. So that's this here, and that just goes in here. If I do use it in a tea, I will put it into the tea as opposed to putting it into a tea bag or tea strainer, and I will chew the catnip. It works out quite well. If you guys want a recommendation for which catnip, it's the very strangely named cat crack, but it's just catnip. But there's mostly the leaves and not the stick pieces. And then the next is eucalyptus. This is a traditional from Chinese medicine. It is a bark, and it's good for pain as well. So catnip is good for nerves. The magnesium is also good for nerves. The eucalyptus is good for nerves and inflammation. Ginger is good for inflammation. Just some studies as well for ginger and also for magnesium have shown that they help with migraines. I do take ginger as a capsule and magnesium as a capsule daily, and then just take these as extracts as needed. Let's see what you guys are saying. I understand if you don't want to delve into this topic, but what do you think about the U.S. presidential election, the whole controversy surrounding it? So Darth, not with the migraine. Yeah, you can ask me on a different video. But basically, you know, there's no controversy. I think the controversy is fabricated, like the war on Christmas, quote unquote controversy. This is I bought it because it's available on iHerb, which ships to Korea for very cheap. A lot of places like Amazon, they charge you so much money for shipping. And then G Market, which is kind of like Amazon in Korea, they charge you a bunch of money for imported items. So it's just like a drink flavoring. That's all it is. Again, if I had this in a flavor, I wouldn't even need that. But because this is unflavored, I got this. The flavor is strawberry kiwi. It's my least favorite flavor, but it's certainly better than sour, fizzy, vinegar nonsense. So, did you walk into some holistic stuff? I guess holistic, I guess. If you want to talk about holism in the sense of, I don't know. I don't know how you want to talk about holistic stuff. I was, we started off talking about prescription medication that I just took, and I'm going to show you guys my injection prescription medication. So I'm definitely not advocating ignoring your doctor's advice, and I'm definitely not advocating essential oils or anything like that. There's some smells, especially for migraines, there's some smells that'll just make your migraine worse. I'm not advocating crystal healing or anything like that in terms of like quote unquote holistic stuff. We're just talking about some things that have been shown to help people, and then I just made them into an extract because this is much faster to consume than it is as a tea. That's all it is. So this is in conjunction with my prescription medication, cleared through my doctor. The type of like magnesium and the amount of magnesium that I take in terms of like the supplement every day, that's based on National Institutes of Health published medical studies. So this is not like Dr. Mercola nonsense. Okay, so we do want to make sure we understand that. Yeah. If I lived in the 1500s, I would definitely be wearing one of those doctor suits for plagues. Some guy got one, was walking around London. I thought at least people are taking the issue seriously if they're doing that. Yeah. That design was to put herbs and stuff in there, so that way it could smell nice. The idea was that sickness was transferred by bad air. That's what it is. Yeah. I feel like strawberry and kiwi are good separate and just an awful combo together. Thank you. See, it's not just me. Strawberry kiwi is wonderful. It's the best Snapple flavor. See, I disagree. Oh, geez, I remember Dr. Mercola, used to be subscribed way back in 2007 when I thought he was legitimate. I know, isn't that terrible? Is that like you think they're legit and it's just Dr. Quackola, Am I allowed to say that? Maybe not. If I'm not, then that's not what I meant. I meant, I don't know. Mercola's office is based in Chicago. It's less than 10 minutes away from my home. I've passed it. You should go in or get like a little GoPro and stick it on your shirt and go in and ask questions. Anyway, so we're going to drink this and hope we don't vomit. But that's, I really should have took some bread with this. So, tart strawberry kind of flavor is what it tastes like. Honestly, this, again, is pretty good for what it is. It helps out. But again, strawberry, kiwi, not my favorite. So I'm going to go have a lie down. Usually with a good ice pack. Of course, you want to wrap your ice pack and what's it called? The thing that stops it from giving you stuff. You know, this is why, and you guys might wonder, how do I teach like this? I do. Some people say, well, why don't you just go home? And I'm like, well, then I'd miss like 66% of my days at work. So I've taught my lessons, and I've had like a script in my head. So it's kind of funny because the students will, like, I'll be sounding very quiet but normal, and then the student will ask a question. I'll just start like stumbling over my words. I mean, we get through it, we get through it. But yeah, they're really good about that. My students are. All right, so with the catnip and with the magnesium, they're good as like a not an almost like a muscle relaxant. So it's quite easy to take a nap after that. They are not going to make you so tired that you need to sleep. I do have a smaller one of these at work, for example, and I take it as I need it. They're not going to make you feel so tired that you have to take a nap, but it's just easier to get a nap. If I wake up and that's not going to go away, then this is what we got. So this is from the same family as a liquid injection. Okay, I can't show it to you exactly because it's, I don't know, but I do have one that's open and one that's not. So there's two servings, there's two doses in here. They're labeled A and B, but there's no, they're the same thing. They're not one you take before the other or anything. So what you want to do is you have this plunger, and I push it down a few times to make sure it's really down, because one time it was, or make sure it's really up, because one time it was down, and when I put it into the vial, as soon as I pulled it out, it just sprayed everywhere. And I was like, no, please. So the vials, I don't know how well you guys can see this. I might have to turn on the lights. Maybe, yes. Okay. So this is what the vial looks like. And so, okay, we'll turn this off. So the reason I turn the light off is you feel like this wave of nausea coming over you. For anyone that's had a really, really bad hangover, and just how everything makes it worse, the smells make it worse, taste make it worse, light makes it worse, I would say it's kind of similar to that, but just worse. So, when somebody turns on a light, or you smell something your roommate might be cooking, and you feel like this wave coming over you, and you're like, oh, don't vomit, that's kind of what the light does. So anyway, you put this in and you twist it until it doesn't move, and that means it's locked in, and you pull it out. This one's already been used. You press it against your skin in a very fatty area. It's supposed to go into your fat. And so it presses up like this, and then oh, I guess you can't hear it anymore, but it makes like a pop click sound. And then when you take it out, let's see, there it is. Okay. Can you see it? There goes the light again. Kind of see it, but it's that sort of. Come on. You can tell I'm not one of those beauty vloggers, whatever. Anyway, this comes out. This is your needle. And as you heard it and saw it, that's what happened. So it's on your leg, and then it's in your body. And on that time that I accidentally did set it off, it sprayed like way up here. This shoots into your body, and you gotta hold it there for 5 seconds, and then you put it back in, and you just do the opposite. You press it down again, and then you twist it the other way, close it up, and you can see here it's out now. So that's why you gotta put it back in. Okay. The first time I used it, I thought I was having a really adverse reaction. I started texting a friend of mine, hey, I think I'm having an allergic reaction. can you please meet me and take me to the Veterans Hospital? And I woke up with my hand and the phone, and the message hadn't sent. I had just passed out after that. I cannot take this at work because I need a solid hour lying down, knocked out, for this to work. Again, this is the sumatriptan. This isn't like, if you take it orally, you're not going to have this problem. Taking it as an injection, it feels like the way that it fixes your migraine is by burning off the ends of every single nerve in your body. You feel like you are, like there's acid flowing through your nerves. There's no other way to say it. It's, and then when it gets up to your nose area, because, you know, I do mine in the side of my upper leg, and I can feel it in all of the parts that hurt the most. Those are the parts that feel like they're burning off, and you just feel it going up in this really awful wave, just slowly overtaking you. And it feels like that feeling when you get a bunch of water going up your nose, you feel like you're drowning. It's that weird feeling in your nose. That's how it feels. It's like you're being waterboarded from the inside. There's a reason this is the last ditch kind of effort. This one you can only take twice a month, and that's why I try to avoid it as much as I can. But yeah, that's the one. Usually, again, if I take this, I will get that post-drome. So if I have to take this today, I'm probably unable to make another video tomorrow. That's probably what's going to happen. This is just, yeah, not great. So some people ask me, you know, why do you wake up so early? You know, I leave for work and I wake up maybe an hour and a half before I have to leave for work. I have to do that because if I have a migraine that morning, I need to sleep more. If I wake up and I have an hour and a half and I know it's a bad migraine, for example, that needs this immediately, I can take it, knock myself out for an hour and 20 minutes, wake up, put some clothes on that are appropriate for work, put my hair up in a ponytail or something, and leave. You know, I'm able to do that. If it's not a migraine that's that bad, then I have some time to get up, try to move a little bit, stretch, you know, maybe I was lying in a weird position or something. You know, try to move around slowly, get ready slowly. So there's a lot of lifestyle stuff that changes. I can't run anymore. Can't easily, like, if I see I'm walking across the street and I see the pedestrian light in the distance and it's green, I can't run to catch it. I have to just walk. Or if I see the bus and the bus stop is a good 100 meters away, I can't run to catch the bus. I have to just wait for another one, because I can't. If I start to run, it triggers a migraine. It sucks. So you guys might wonder, well, Lee, don't you lift weights? Yep, to tolerance. The nice thing about lifting weights is you can do it slowly. You can do it at home. You can stop and you can just wait. It doesn't have to be heavy weights, you know. With running, even if I jog for 50 meters or something, that's my entire body being jostled. So that's what I don't really care for. Stationary bike is good. Swimming is okay if I'm not moving my arms too much over my head, because that will upset this area and then that triggers a migraine. But that jostling that I have will definitely do it. That's why I can't run anymore, which sucks. I used to run, 5 to 10 kilometers a day. So it sucks I can't do that anymore. But, you know, that was what, 14 years ago, 15 years ago. So, you know, I've come to terms with it. That was some time. Yeah. All right. Give yourself credit that's rather difficult to get through. Thank you, Evie. You know, I just really, really love teaching, and that's why I still do it. I could be at home. I qualify for disability, but I just really like teaching, and so I do it. And yeah, my students are really good about it. When I had little kids, when I was teaching little kids, I had to get creative with them, but my older students, they're much better. They understand. And then apparently some of my students have migraines, so you know, they're able to see what works, but they can also see that you know, having migraines doesn't have to be the end of the world. You can still get a job, you can still, you know, do this stuff. You can make it accommodate you. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's good that they have a teacher that they can, I don't know if the word look up to, I don't know if that sounds arrogant or anything, but they have at least an example of somebody that has the problem that they have, and you know, they're making it work. Of course, you know, there are people on disability that absolutely need it. I do not judge anybody on disability whatsoever. I think if I didn't love teaching, I would probably be on disability. Yeah, definitely. If I didn't love it, yeah. I think that's all I got for you. Let's see. Summer was asking, I just got here, what med is that? So this actually is just, let me pull it out here. So this is just sumatriptan. So I think you've probably taken one of these, because Summer, I think you get migraines too, right? So this is just a triptan, but it's just the injectable form of it. That's all it is. So it's just from the triptan family. If you take straight up sumatriptan and not one of the, because there's these like slight variations like Migraine and stuff, but if you just take like the generic sumatriptan, you might get that weird am I drowning feeling of that burn tingling like here, especially if your migraine is here and here, you'll feel it sometimes, even if you just take the pill. For the other stuff, I tend not to get that feeling. For the regular, just straight sumatriptan pill, I do. And then for this, it's, yeah, crazy. Yeah, it causes heart disturbances. Yeah, it's, then I don't recommend this for you for sure. If there's an alternative that you can take as an injection, you know, this will get you functional. This is for those migraines that, you know, otherwise would be lasting for 2 to 4 days if you didn't take this. This is like the interrupter. I have taken it and it hasn't helped. That's the worst, because then you're just like, now what? You know, what am I supposed to do? But those, again, those migraines are the type that are, you can't function. You're vomiting and you're just unable to function. That's why I know if I take a nap and I wake up and I need this, it's because I'm not going to be feeling like this. It's because I'm going to be nonverbal. I won't even be able to look at a screen, so I can look at a screen with these glasses on. When you get to like level maximum, I don't even know number, level max, you are pretty much nonverbal. You can barely move, and it's not great. I should also say that you may get migraines that do not have a pain component, or they may have a pain component in something else. So I do get migraines that are just extreme dizziness. It feels like I'm in a really bad earthquake and somebody has my shoulders and they're shaking me. So there are times where I've had to like ask a coworker, well, I'll be like, hey, are we having an earthquake right now? Because if we are having an earthquake, you know, we gotta do earthquake protocol. But if it's just me, then, well, you know, it's still annoying, but at least we don't have to crawl under our desks, you know. So that'll happen. There's migraines that mimic the symptoms of stroke. And one of the reasons you do want to try to keep your migraines under control is because they put you at a higher risk for stroke. So that's not great. My doctor told me he wants me to have fewer than one a year. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have a stroke. or higher risk for stroke anyway, in my 40s, and now that's what, one year away. So you know, we'll see. But yeah, that's exciting. All right, so I'm gonna go lie down. I hope this has been informative. Yeah, so I think, yeah, silent migraines. Yeah, I guess they are silent migraines. The first time I did have the symptoms of stroke one, that was weird. I mean, my grandmother had a stroke. I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. I'm having a stroke too, but I'm so much younger than her. What the heck? The left side of my body just lost power. That's the only way I can describe it. There was just no strength. I was dragging my leg to my car. Had my friend drive me to the Veterans Hospital. It was weird. My hand was just, yeah. They said something it had to do with calcium and migraines, and that, oh, this is we did an MRI and stuff, and then they were like, oh, it's just a type of migraine. Oh. Oh, okay, just a type of migraine. Cool, thanks. Just the way that they, I mean, yeah, a migraine's better than a stroke, but oh, it's just a migraine. Okay, thank you. To be ill and not to be able to lean on the strong hand of my husband, I honestly cannot imagine this, and I would probably go crazy. Yeah, you definitely want people in your life that understand what it's like to have a migraine. I had a friend, and bless my friend, love my friend, but when we play Pokemon Go, he, I think, didn't understand what it meant when I had a migraine. And I would feel really guilty that he came out to visit me, so I would go out with him. He'd play Pokemon Go and go, raiding and whatever. And then I'd just be like, oh, vomiting on the street or puking in the bushes. And then he'd be like, ew, thanks. I'm doing this for you. So I was really glad when the Pokemon spoofer showed up, which kind of fakes your location, and I would just use it just to walk around the area with this joystick. But I guess Niantic, the Pokemon Go company, sued the people that did it. I guess they had made it primarily for people like me, disabled veterans, that wanted to play Pokemon, but they couldn't. And I don't know, I really hope Niantic it just gives us a joystick. You don't need to teleport to a different nation or something to catch regional Pokemon. Just a joystick that lets you walk around within 10-kilometer radius of your position. That's all I would want. Yeah, that would be really helpful. And then if my friend visits me, okay, maybe we can't go together, but at least I can, with my little joystick. During the pandemic, I ended up with permanent, I can't even read, neurological and visual damage to an untreated, out of control migraine. They aren't just a headache. Exactly. Yeah, migraines, they may seem superficially similar to just like an extreme headache. They're just not. They're a separate thing. They start for a different reason. They're triggered by a bunch of just basic lifestyle stuff. And they are debilitating. They worsen with just basic lifestyle stuff. Sound, light, smell, taste. Your skin hurts. Like my skin on my scalp hurts. It slows down your speech. You start puking and stuff. I mean, these are, the temperature swings. I didn't mention that. You get very, very hot, and then you're sweating, and then a minute later you're shivering and freezing. You just can't control your temperature, but you're not having a fever or anything. Just your perception of temperature changes. And again, it's not like all of these happen all the time. Sometimes, the cold helps your head. Sometimes it makes it worse. And I think that's what's so frustrating about it. They're so They're so finicky. They also tend to make you very tired, and that sucks. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I hope this has been educational. And if you know anybody with migraines, feel free to show it to them. Maybe it can help them. And, if they have tried stuff, I mean, if you decide to share this, don't come at it like, oh, here's this person, this is what they do, you should try it too, because blah, blah, blah. I mean, they probably already tried it in a lot of ways. A lot of people don't know about this, the injection, so, maybe introduce that. But, as Summer said, I mean, this type of thing isn't well tolerated by her, so, there's just so many variables. If anybody has like chronic pain or disability or something, don't come at them with like, I found the answer. There's no answer. There's just not. I mean, if they come up with a cure for migraines ever, I don't even know what that would look like, just functionally. What would fundamentally change the way that your brain communicates with your nervous system? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's no cure for it, and it doesn't seem reasonable to expect one. So please don't fall into the trap. Somebody mentioned like, oh, did I stumble into something holistic here? No, this is, these are like pieces of things I put together that kind of help in conjunction with prescription medication. So if you get somebody that's like, oh yeah, this special water will fix it, it can't. It just can't. And I think it sucks because when you see someone, especially somebody you care about, who lives with chronic pain, I feel really bad for anybody that cares about me, because they always feel just so ridiculously helpless. And like when my friend comes over, I'm so useless. Do you know what I mean? They can come all the way out here and we can have plans, and then on the day they show up, at the moment they show up, I happen to have a migraine. And it just sucks. And it's like, well, what do you do? And a lot of times I push myself to do stuff because it's like, well, I'm still going to have the migraine anyway. I may as well try to enjoy my day. It's difficult, and I understand it's difficult, but please understand, there's nothing you can do. You're trying to talk about curing a problem that's been bugging people since forever. You know what I mean? Migraines are not new. They've been plaguing people since forever. Can you imagine being a hunter-gatherer with a migraine? My goodness, you would just throw yourself off a damn cliff. So, there's nothing you can do about it. The best thing you can do is just let them know it's okay. You're there to hang out. You're not there to do a thing. If you guys have plans for something, understand if your friend says, I'll make a tentative plan with you. Let them make the tentative plan, because if you buy tickets, just like, I would never let somebody buy tickets to something, unless it's like some kind of vacation or something. I don't know, but like a concert, I just, no, you just can't. It's really hard to make future plans. Yeah. I remember these photos that I took while I was having this really bad migraine in Japan, and I was just like in this beautiful bamboo forest, and then we had to take this photo, and I was just like, this pathetic smile. You do what you can, I guess, and I don't know what I'm talking about, honestly. I'm just kind of rambling up. Don't give up. I mean, there's nothing to give up, when you say stuff like, I don't hold out hope for any cure in my lifetime. It's not, oh, I'm hopeless and I've given up. It's, I'm being realistic, so that way I don't just fall into the trap of buying everything that claims to be a cure for migraines. You know what I mean? It's Lee, I'll be there tomorrow. Can you pick me up from the airport at 2 p.m.? If somebody comes out, yeah, I would. But I would actually ask them, if I'm the only person who can come and get you from the airport, I would ask if it's possible there's a flight at night that comes at night, so that we don't have to deal with all the lights and stuff. It's acceptance and doing what matters. Right. It's it's you understand this is what's going on with your body. Figure out how to cope with it. That's all it is. To just constantly hold out hope that something someday is going to make it better, I feel like it's just a waste of energy. You know what I mean? I don't think it's nihilistic. I don't think it's negative. I don't think it's pessimistic. I just think it's, if I'm so busy holding out hope for something, then I'm not trying to do all I can right now. And I'd rather do all I can right now, understanding that there's probably not going to be a cure for it, rather than holding out hope. Do you know what I mean? So it's not a negative thing. It's not a downer. It's just, please understand, when your friends or family members going through this, they're not doing it to be lazy. They're not doing it to avoid hanging out with you. They're not being a baby. They're not, I don't know, all these other things people can say. They're not doing it for any of those reasons. They're just really having a hard time, So, yeah. It helped me tremendously living where I do, to have friends who get it right. That's the best thing you can do to help somebody who has chronic problems, is just to say, hey, I'm here to hang out with you, and if that means that I'm going to watch something on Netflix while you nap, I'm good with that, I would be just happy with that if my friend just kind of came over and we just hung out quietly. I'd be totally fine with that. But I think that really, there's only some type of friend you can make that way. You'd have to make very homebody type friends, because otherwise, you don't want to interfere with the other person having a good time, and that's why I don't hold it against anybody if they can't handle being friends with someone who has these problems, or, be in a relationship with somebody who has these problems. I don't blame them, so. All right. I'm gonna head out. Jeez, it's been an hour. It's not my intention. But the magnesium's been working, so I've been feeling a little bit better. I'm just gonna go turn off all the screens and stuff and lie down in the dark, because I'm just feeling a lot of junk behind my eyes, and I feel like it'll restart soon. But yeah, so see y'all later. Have a good one. Adios. Bye-bye. Zaijian. Do svidaniya. All that good stuff. Alright.